Hello, this is Joe Novickis, and I'm going to go over a concept that we go over with our students on personal finance about filling the asset buckets and not the liability buckets. We cover this concept because what we're trying to do with students, we're trying to develop a financial plan for them as they move forward in life. And so in order to create a financial plan, we have to understand, the concept of a balance sheet, an income statement, and then also the different types of things that they can invest in. So in order to kind of get going here, they have to understand what the balance sheet is. The balance sheet is basically composed of three elements. Assets represent ownership of value that can be converted into cash and provide a future economic benefit. Liabilities owe money. So we owe money for loans or to other people, to school, to mortgages, to cars, credit card companies. And then owner's equity would be the residual of assets minus liabilities. And we also call this in personal finance, we call this your net worth. So if we take the formula of the balance sheet and we kind of just dump the liability on the left side of the equation, assets, what we own minus what we owe, gives us our net worth. Young people make a huge mistake. When they're young, they get out of college, they buy too many assets that depreciate in value versus buying assets that appreciate. To make matters even worse, they purchase these depreciating assets using liabilities. They get car loans, they have credit card payments, so cars, furniture, clothing, electronics, etc. They start acquiring these assets. They borrow money to acquire them. So when they borrow that money, they're on their income statement, they're going to have a higher interest expense amount. And at the same time on their balance sheet, the assets will be going down in value, and then they're also creating a liability to go with it. So what we want our students to do is we want them to create a plan to avoid some of the pitfalls and traps that young people make. In year one of work, the first year they obtain their job. As parents, you'll be very proud. As students, you'll be very happy. And what you want to do is you want to first focus on building an emergency fund, signing up for your 401k right out of the gates, and really limiting your exposure to liabilities. You want to stay away from credit card debt. Use it just to pay it off to build a credit history. And I'm not going to repeat this. We always want to pay our bills on time, whether it's the phone bill, the credit card, the rent. We want to make sure that we're organized and that we're basically improving our credit score, because that credit score is not only valuable in getting good low interest rates loan, we're also looking, a lot of employers now are starting to look at prospective candidates, and when they're ready to hire, before they make that final call, we see them actually pulling up credit scores to make sure that the person is responsible with their own finances. Year two, we want to evaluate our career choice. So really every year I tell the students, evaluate your career choice. You should enjoy what you do in life. You should enjoy the time that you spend. I mean, it's not all going to be fun and games, but you should have a passion for what you're doing. If that passion isn't there, then you definitely should evaluate your career choice. Once we're happy in our career choice, then we continue filling those asset buckets as if you're going to continue with the career choice. And you see there's different investment buckets here. So investment one could be a 401k. Investment two could be the emergency fund. Investment three could be a Roth IRA. And I'll get more into what those buckets should look like. We want to shoot for, in the first 10 years of work, we want to establish probably around 4 or 5 different buckets, 4 or 5 different long-term investments that we want to be making. Year three, we continue evaluating our career choice and we keep filling the buckets. Year 4 and beyond, the same thing. And so we're focused on filling these buckets. There's the bell. Enjoying life and really making sure that we're financially stable moving forward. And it really starts with good decisions in your 20s. When you either demonstrate in your 20s you have the ability to save, and we want to establish that ability to save right out of the gate. So what we teach students here at Deerfield, we teach them to really pay themselves first. So treat savings as the first bill that you pay every single month for the rest of your life. Set it up as a percentage of your income and really stick to that. And then with that percentage that you're saving, you're putting it into these different buckets that you've created. And then you could spend the rest of your money within the boundaries of that money that you have left over. Too often we spend the full amount and then we save last. Therefore, we kind of neglect savings a lot, and we see that with people in their 20s. They really neglect to save, and then they really they start saving a little bit more into their 30s, and then by the time they're in their 40s, they really have to play a lot of catch up. So I want our students to get off to a great start in life, and really what's going to help them in the long run is having the ability to save. Now, the best advice that I give them, this is Grand Slam advice, don't forget to focus some of your attention to create opportunities for passive income. Passive income is income that is not earned. Every day I wake up and I teach and I drive to Deerfield High School, and I'm here and I'm working and I'm teaching and I'm earning my income. It is you know, and many people who have jobs, they're going to work every morning and they're earning that income. A lot of people aren't told about passive income, and passive income is basically earning income where you're not earning it. So when I invest in different companies and they pay a dividend, I'm not going to Walgreens every day and working there. If I own their stock, they're going to pay me a dividend, and that dividend becomes what is called passive income. I earn, my dollars are making the income for me. Annuity contracts, creating an enterprise where you have other people do work for you. We see there's a lot of real estate examples of enterprises, you know, small businesses. So you make a business, that's earned income, I'm running my business, but then if I could duplicate it, franchise it out, enterprise it, now I'm earning passive income. And then finally, interest income, putting your money into where it could earn interest for you. So don't neglect passive income. All right, here are the investment buckets that I've identified for the students, and obviously there's more than this, and I'm sure some students are aware of additional ones, and parents out there might be doing more than this, but here are kind of 10 that kind of come to mind quickly. 10 or 11 I have here listed. The first one is stock investing, so they're going to set up a 401k. We talked about Roth IRA. I think it's important that when a student does get a job, that they do take, whether it's, you know, a small amount of that pay, and really set up the Roth IRA. You know, do that with them, because once they start when they're young and they start making those contributions, they will see the importance of it as that money kind of starts growing. Then as they gain more knowledge, they'll be able to be more flexible with what kinds of decisions they make in their Roth IRA, because we could trade definitely stock in there, individual stocks. There's a lot of different things we could do with the Roth IRA. And then the 401k obviously is once they have their professional job. Mutual funds, and then ever so popular right now are index ETFs. Those match the index, and they have very, very low commissions in comparison to the mutual funds. Stock trading, so teaching them how to trade individual stocks. Bonds, investing in different types of government bonds, corporate bonds, municipal bonds we briefly covered there. Permanent life insurance contracts we just covered. So those are life insurance contracts that build a cash value. Real estate, we have direct real estate where I own the real estate directly and I'm a landlord and I rent out. Options, so those are derivative contracts. We don't really teach them in an intro. We do have it in our investing class. We spend about 8-9 weeks trading in options. So if that's something they want to consider, you know, we have that in our investing class. Commodities, you know, are traded through ETFs now, and so you could trade those. Real estate, so you could own REITs, small business investor, currencies, they want to do Forex, and then collectibles. So those are the different options that we touch. Some of them obviously we touch a lot more than others, where they might be a little too complex where they're at. But it's so important as adults and our young students, and even my own kids' life, is that we do give them a concept of saving. And really saving is an important concept. If we have the ability to can save, and we're not so focused on consumption all the time, we will generate wealth over a long period of time. And then with that wealth, as we get older, we will now have passive income that we will be able to consume the things that we want as we progress and go through life. That is what we have for investing in assets and not creating liabilities on our balance sheet. Best of luck creating a financial plan, students, and we will continue talking about these as we move forward.